Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. Decided to film the intro from indoors. I've been spending a lot of time outdoors lately, so I'm indoors by the fake fireplace. Today is, I think, January 14th. I'm not positive about that, but this one's going to be pretty much about snow and snow removal. Don't worry, it's going to be nothing like my previous video. A lot of different things going on in this one. I do show a little bit about the job that I don't really like about cleaning snow, and that is cleaning the snow off of my garage roof. I was able to get that accomplished. And also, I have a segment later on about, I did have an issue with my snowblower, first issue that I've ever had. So I do cover the repair / maintenance that I did on that. And I'll have a few other bits in this video. But again, thanks for clicking on it. Enjoy. Well, Happy New Year. It is New Year's Day, and it is snowing like crazy. Been snowing pretty much all afternoon and early evening. As you can see, I've had to, if any of you saw my previous video from the day before New Year's Eve, we got a bunch of snow, maybe 6-7 inches of nice, fluffy, decent snow. Now this stuff today is becoming very wet and heavy, just like concrete. So you can see here it's not pretty to look at, but I've had to kind of push things out of the way with the ATV plow. It's a mess out here. Much different than my previous video. I'm starting to get some piles here that are pushing against my fence, which I don't particularly like. I'm running out of places to put it, but you know the old saying, be careful what you wish for. I was wishing for some snow and some proper winter, and I do still love it. I'm not necessarily complaining, but it can stop for a few hours now and let me get caught up. It's January 4th. It's pretty much snowed every day since New Year's Eve, or actually December 30th. We had a little bit of a break, but the problem is a couple days ago we had that really heavy wet snow and some warm temperatures, and then today's round, which we did get quite a bit today, is a little more light and fluffy, but that wet and heavy stuff kind of, not only is it a lot of work to move, but it creates these banks that pose a problem with my plow. And I kind of violated my own rule. I always say when you're pushing snow or plowing snow or shoveling, push it further than you think you need to, because you might need that room later. Well, that's the problem I'm having with the plow right now, is all these banks on the side of the road are solid. They're not necessarily frozen solid, but it's still that wet, heavy stuff, and I've got nowhere to push it. I don't want to damage the fence on either side. So I'll get through it. I'll get it figured out. The other project that I might have to tackle today that I really don't want to is, of course, the roofs. I mentioned that we got that heavy, wet stuff. I got most of that off of there. But all of this, and obviously we had some drifting, all of this is that lighter stuff. So, I mean, it's not a lot of weight on the roof yet. I want to get it off there, especially if it warms up or we get some rain. That's just going to be too much weight, but I'm not looking forward to cleaning that roof. So, it's done for now. Not perfect, but good enough for who it's for. As mentioned in the previous clip, my challenge right now is where to put it. You can see out here on the road, I've got some pretty big banks pushed up, and then every 10 meters or so I kind of deviate and push off just to give me a place to put it, because just pushing it straight with these big berms was getting pretty tough. Sunday, January 4th, late afternoon. Imagine that, more snow. Well, here we are again, January 5th evening. The day's snow cleanup is done. Might look similar to all the previous clips I've shown, but it just keeps piling up. It's not exactly the same. You can definitely see here where, you know, that's got to be probably 4 foot high. I did a lot of snow blowing today. The snowblower actually throws the snow a lot further than I can with the plow, but she's piling up. Winter wonderland here. It's definitely dropped in temperature. I think we're about -5 right now in Celsius, and the next several days are supposed to be quite cold comparatively. I don't know, -10, 15 at night, and single digits minus during the day, but we should hopefully be done with snow for a little while, or at the very least done with that heavy wet stuff. If we do get more, it should be that light fluffy stuff. Hi guys, very early morning, Tuesday, January 6th. It's been a hell of a new year so far. I think I maybe mentioned it in some previous clips and or videos, but my equipment has just been performing flawlessly throughout all this snowmageddon, or all this snow, especially the ATV and the plow. It's just a little tank. It hasn't given me any problems, and it's doing a great job of moving the snow. Hopefully that holds true for the rest of the season. But I did run into my first issue with the snowblower yesterday. It was pretty deep and pretty wet snow that I was trying to blow, and I noticed that the snow kept kind of stopping. You know, it wasn't blowing as strongly as it should. Sometimes it would come to a complete stop, and immediately in my head I knew, you know, that's probably a sign of a belt problem. So I brought it into the garage here, and thank goodness for YouTube videos. I watched a few YouTube videos on how to check the belts and or replace them, so that was very helpful. And by the way, when I was a younger guy, I was kind of spoiled. My dad was a master mechanic. He always fixed and serviced everything. Later in life, my Uncle Chuck, anytime something broke, he'd fix it for me. So I should have paid better attention. I'm not a complete idiot when it comes to working on things, but at the same time I should have learned from the folks that knew what was going on when I had the chance. But anyhow, at a high level overview, you see I've got this strapped. I'll talk about that in a second, but basically you have to disconnect the chute cable and the chute lever, or not lever, but this little post that controls the chute. Take off the belt cover. There's a few other steps. There's a little guard. It's not really a tensioner that goes above the belts. That's got to come off. But then there's some bolts here on each side that, sorry, let me turn on my light. Should have done that. But there's some bolts on each side that you got to crack loose. And when you do that, it splits the snowblower in half. That's why I've got the strap there. If you don't have that strap there, this thing will just fall right to the floor. But essentially it's just like a clamshell. There's a little hinge at the bottom here, but it kind of breaks in half so you can get the belt out. Now here is the belt, and honestly I've never replaced it. I've had the machine for 10 years. Shame on me. I'm usually pretty good about maintenance, but this one I fell short on. But all in all, the belt doesn't look bad. I'm not seeing cracks. I'm not seeing flat spots. So I do see a bit of kind of rubber residue, so something was burning. So here's what I think happened. I think that ice built up in the impeller or the auger, and it was just causing the belt to slip. But I've got it taken apart. I think maybe I've rounded up a place to get a new belt, and I'm going to replace it. While I'm in there, if they have it, I will also replace the drive belt here that helps makes the machine go forward or reverse. If they don't have it, I'll have to replace it later, which I will do. I've learned my lesson on this one. I didn't do the maintenance that I should have done, and I'm paying the price now. But all in all, this snowblower has just been great. I haven't had any issues with it until now, and I work the hell out of it. I mean, I think this thing, it really isn't designed for what I use it for. Sometimes I even do the whole road with it. But anyhow, sorry that went a little long-winded. I'll try to give you guys an update if and when I finish the belt replacement, but this is where I'm at for right now. Hi guys, back again. It's been a few days, actually a week or so, since I tore apart my snowblower. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is they were able to get me a new drive belt. The bad news is they got the wrong size for the auger belt. But even they at the shop agreed that this one doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to put it back on. As I said in the previous clip, the issue probably wasn't with the belt. It was just that the auger or the intake impeller was encased with ice. So I'm pretty confident that if I put this belt back on, it'll be fine, unless it gets clogged with ice again. But you know, I will get a new one. It's a little bit frustrating that I couldn't get the right part back in the US. You just pretty much just walk into the shop and get the belt you need. But anyhow, this is mainly just to show you guys that if I can do it, you can do it. Although I don't have it put back together yet. But the real tough part on this is you can see that in there's like a little pressure plate or a disc that pushes against this wheel. I forget what it's called. But to try to get the belt between this and that wheel in there is the tough part. The rest of it's pretty easy. I will keep you guys posted. So I did manage to get the new drive belt on. Wasn't a lot of fun, but it wasn't too bad. Then you got to reattach the tensioner. That should take care of that. Obviously, we don't want it too tight. Obviously, the machine will move when you don't want it to move. Then putting on the auger belt was much easier because you've got the ability to kind of spread this out a little bit, as you can see, which is the handy part of being able to remove these bolts. Once you got that, make sure that your hinge is in place on the bottom, and then replace your 2 bolts on each side to close it back up. Then when you got your 2 bolts back in on each side to join the front half to the back half, then you got to thread the belt on, making sure it's on the inside of the tensioner there. One other piece of advice is to remove the key or make sure the machine is in the off position, and if you're real safe about it, remove the spark plug connection. As you spin these, theoretically, it could start. I really doubt it, but better safe than sorry. Then you want to replace your belt and pulley guard and reconnect the spark plug if you did so earlier. And pray that it works when you use it. We actually have some snow on the way here in a couple hours. I don't know if it'll be enough to snow blow, but I'll probably fire it up just to make sure everything's working. Oh, sorry, one more thing. You got to reconnect all of the blower attachments for your blower part here, but that should be it. Again, this is not meant to be an instructional video. You guys can find much better videos out there on YouTube, but I just wanted to show you that it can be done. Well, I got the dirty job done. Cleaned off the garage roof. There was a lot of snow up there, and bear in mind that this is only half of it that you can see. There's another side that's the same exact size. I removed literally tons and tons of snow. It was quite deep. Some of it was pretty heavy from those other snowfalls we had. It's a long ways down once you get up here. I'm sure I violated about 37 safety rules by doing what I did, but it is what it is, and really it's the only way to get it done. Some of you might be asking or saying, well, why don't you just use a roof rake? And the answer to that is my roof is too tall. So for me to be standing on a ladder with 2 feet and have both hands on that roof rake, that's even more dangerous than what I just did. My wife did buy me something called, it's kind of like a roof rake, but it's a roof avalanche. It's got like a little piece of plastic that the snow slides down. Again, I can't get to the roof because it's too high. It does work okay on the shed. So really it just boils down to every once in a while, if we get a lot of snow or if we have snow and there's rain coming, I just got to get up there and shovel it off. It's one part of winter I do not like. I managed to keep a lot of it off the paved bricks. I just throw it off to the side. I've got a little bit of a Mount Everest thing going on here, but I guarantee you that pile of snow weighs as much as a couple of cars. And also I wanted to clarify a couple things I said about cleaning the roof. When I said that roof rake wouldn't work, because my roof is too tall. It's not so much that it's too tall, but you can see there is no slope or angle, so I can't get the rake directly onto the roof unless I stand on a ladder. And secondly, I mentioned rain a couple times. I said, you know, I like to get that snow off there in case rain is coming, and based on the temperatures we're having today, rain is nowhere in sight. But if and when we do get rain and that snow is still up there, that snow just acts like a sponge. The rain will not run off. It just sits there and soaks up in the snow and adds an enormous amount of weight. So hopefully that makes sense. I think anyone of you that lives in a northern climate understands what I'm saying. Hi everyone. Saturday, January 10th. We had a couple days off from the snow, but the bottom fell out on the temperatures. I think right now it's about -8, which isn't all that cold, but we've got a really stiff north wind. It's not too bad here in the woods, but I think the wind chill is in the -20s. And previous to this cold snap, we had, as I showed in all the other clips in this video, a lot of snow here. You can see the forest looks absolutely gorgeous, but due to that snow, all of my trail cams, or both of my trail cams, were basically encased in a layer of snow and ice. So I'm sure I didn't get any action during that time. So I grabbed them, brought them in the house, let them thaw out, and now I'm just back out here. I'm going to put one of my cameras somewhere out here in the forest in a different spot. That last spot I had, it wasn't real productive, so we'll see what happens here. But I got my camera and some brush trimmers, and we'll see what happens.